Today we're taking a look at these NCAAF matches, which are happening on Tuesday, November 8, 2022, and giving you match breakdowns, betting tips and predictions in general on these games. Welcome back to High Stakes, let's get straight into it. Also, don't forget to subscribe and push that notification bell to get notified as soon as we release these sport prediction videos. And if you would like more betting tips and predictions, then check out our Patreon in the link down below. Our new Patreon is a way for us to help you improve your chances of making more money. Multiple plans are available for each and every one of you. By becoming a member of the High Stakes Patreon, you will have access to our best team picks, total picks, parlay picks and much more. Stop wasting hours of your time searching for bad betting predictions that ends up costing you a lot of time and money. Join the High Stakes Patreon now and get the best betting picks. Akron Zips vs Eastern Michigan Eagles. There's a lot not to like about Akron, but this is a better spot for hear from them than Eastern Michigan. Akron was predicted to finish last in the MAC before the season started, and contending for a championship was never their reality. This season, Akron has challenged itself with non-conference losses at Michigan State, Tennessee, and Liberty. In the MAC, Akron has lost 3 of their 5 games by 7 points or less. Eastern Michigan isn't stable at the quarterback position and could be due for a letdown here. Eastern Michigan would have had a legit shot to reach the MAC championship game had they held on to beat Toledo in their last game, but following that loss, I see getting up for the 1-8 Zips on for a Tuesday game, posing a challenge. No team wants to finish the conference season winless, and the Zips should be motivated in this spot. Take the Akron Zips plus 9.5 points. Looking at the defense in the previous few games, they definitely need some work as Eastern Michigan is allowing 27.3 points in their last 3 games, while Akron is giving up 35.8 points in their previous 4 games. Both of these teams love to run the football and have difficulty stopping, so there should be drives with short amounts of plays that are moving the ball and making sure that things go smoothly for the offense. These defenses are not applying much defensive pressure as they have a total of 26 sacks through 18 combined games this season. All in all, go with the over as it feels like the better play in this game. Ohio U vs Miami. The Ohio Bobcats are battling for the top spot in the MAC East. They are even with Buffalo and Bowling Green for the top spot with a 4-1 conference record. Ohio is enjoying a stellar winning streak, collecting the win in 4 consecutive bouts, propelled by a barrage of points. They beat U 2 weeks ago and were labeled 2.5-point dogs in a 45-24 home win against Buffalo last Tuesday. The Bobcats have now covered the spread in all 5 conference games. Curtis Rourke has been outstanding. The junior QB amassed 317 passing yards last week and has now eclipsed 300 yards 5 times this season. Rourke has collected 27.25 passing yards, accompanied by a sharp 21.4 TD to int ratio, and has added 234 rushing yards. Ohio doesn't run as often as most teams, and the rushing offense ranks 103rd in the FBS as a result. Sia Bangura has the ability for big performances. The freshman RB has reached 100 rushing yards in 2 out of his last 4 games and has 495 rushing yards on 4.6 yards per carry. Sam Wiglusz continues to be targeted frequently. The senior WR brought in 131 receiving yards last week and leads the squad with 710 yards. The Ohio offense has scored at least 33 points in 3 out of their last 4 games. The Miami Ohio Redhawks need 2 wins in their final 3 regular season games to achieve bowl eligibility status. They have been inconsistent in MAC play due to the offense. Miami, Ohio lost 16-10 to WMU on the 22nd and were 9.5-point favorites in a 27-9 road win at Akron 2 weeks ago, before last week's bye week to improve to 2-3 in conference play. This squad had a challenging non-conference schedule and managed to beat Northwestern of the Big Ten. The Redhawks have covered the spread in only 2 of their 5 conference games. The Ohio Bobcats are clicking, winning 4 games in a row. These have been convincing victories, winning by at least 19 points in 3 games in that span, highlighted by a 45-24 win against Buffalo last week. The Redhawks are inconsistent and have only won 2 out of their last 5 games. Furthermore, the Ohio offense has an ideal matchup in this MAC bout. The Bobcats have an elite passing offense that is averaging a remarkable 309 passing yards per game, and QB Curtis Rourke should feast on a Miami, Ohio pass defense that is pegged 82nd in the FBS. Also, while the Redhawks offense now has number 1 QB, Brett Gabbert back in action, he has only connected on 55% of his pass attempts in 2 games since his return. The Redhawks will run frequently, and Ohio just held Buffalo to 22 rushing yards last week. All signs point to a convincing road win for Ohio. Take the Ohio Bobcats minus 1.5 points. Miami's defense is good enough to keep Ohio's high-powered passing attack at bay for several possessions on Tuesday night. Miami's offense has been a struggle all season as they are only scoring an average of 19.4 points per game. The under is the play in this game, especially with the total being so high. The under is 5-0 in the last 5 games played in Oxford. The under is 9-1 in the Bobcats' last 10 versus a team with a losing record. The under is 5-0 in the Redhawks' last 5 conference games. Take the under 52.5 points on Tuesday night. Toledo Rockets vs Ball State Cardinals. They trailed 13-0 before rattling off 20 consecutive points in that game. Kent State was able to tie things up at 20-20 in the fourth quarter, but Ball State got the last laugh by scoring the game-winning touchdown with 3:21 remaining. Sophomore running back Carson Steele led the way with 29 carries for 192 yards and a touchdown, averaging 6.6 yards per touch. He has been the biggest factor for Ball State offensively, racking up 1,097 rushing yards and 9 touchdowns this season. Junior quarterback John Paddock has completed 61.7% of his passes for 2,227 yards, 16 touchdowns and 10 interceptions. Ball State does not have any key reported injuries coming into this matchup. Toledo can take firm control of the MAC West with a win on Tuesday night. The Rockets are currently 1 game ahead of Ball State in the standings with 3 games remaining, so a win would give them a 2-game cushion and the tiebreaker in the division. They have won 4 of their last 5 games since suffering back-to-back losses against then number 3 Ohio State and San Diego State in September. Toledo covered the spread in consecutive wins over Central Michigan, Northern Illinois and Kent State in October, before losing to Buffalo as a 7-point favorite. The Rockets bounced back with a 27-24 win over Eastern Michigan its last time out, although they failed to cover the 4-point spread. It is very hard to justify betting on Toledo as a double-digit favorite given its starting quarterback is questionable to play. Gleason did an admirable job filling in last week, but the division title is essentially on the line in this matchup, creating a ton of pressure if he gets another start. Ball State has been playing its best football of the season, pulling off 3 outright upsets during a stretch of 4 wins in 5 games. The Cardinals are live underdogs again on Tuesday night, especially with a running back who has gone over 100 rushing yards in 7 of his last 8 games. They have won 13 of their last 19 conference games and are getting no respect for it in the betting market. Take the Ball State plus 12 points. While it is unknown whether Daquan Finn will play quarterback for Toledo, last week when the QB was out Toledo scored only 27 points, and on the season the Rockets are averaging 35.9 per game. The total has finished under in 8 of the last 10 games played between Ball State and Toledo, and in each of the last 5 games that Toledo has played at home versus Ball State. Both Ball State and Toledo have above-average running games, and the two will use their ground games, which will eat up the clock and produce fewer possessions for both. Take the under 50.5 points.